how to learn to play a song. Now, there are many different approaches here, but regardless of which method you choose, here are 8 tips to make the process even easier. Now, we live in an age where it's pretty easy to find the tablature or the sheet music for almost any song you're wanting to play. And you might have even come across my channel when searching for a tutorial for a certain song. Now, these resources are great because they can show you exactly what to play and when to play it. But sometimes it's difficult to find this information for certain songs. And not only that, if you do have it, then it's easy to become so reliant on reading the notes on the page that you lose focus of the performance. And that can really be a barrier in the connection between you and your audience. So keep watching for more tips on how to memorize the songs so you don't have to spend the whole performance staring at the sheet music. What key is the song in? This is a good thing to know. Now, you could just start playing along with the song and finding the notes on the fretboard. That's essentially learning by ear, but Google can help you out here as well. If you type in the title of the song, the artist name, and the word key, you can find this information pretty quickly. There are sites like songbpm.com and tunebat.com, which are pretty reliable, and they'll give you not only the key of the song, but also the tempo, and both of these things are good details to have. Now, once you know the key of the song, let's look at it on the fretboard. Let's say my song is in the key of A, so I'm going to be on the 5th fret of my E string. Now, if you're not familiar with the Nashville Number System, check out this video or give a quick introduction to the system. But this is essentially what it is. I'm going to start on A, and I'm going to work through the major scale. And I'm going to assign each note a number. So A is my 1, B is my 2, C sharp is my 3, D is my 4, E is my 5, F sharp is my 6, G sharp is my 7, and then I'm back to the A at the top. Now, these notes make up the song's musical palette. These are the notes that are most likely going to be played in the song. Now, this isn't a bulletproof method, depending on the style of music or the mode that the song is in, but that's why we're doing this exercise, right? We're wanting to find out what notes are most likely going to be played based only on the key of the song. So now you know the key of the song, and you know the notes and the numbers that are most likely going to be played based on that key. Now it's time to play along with the song and map out the chord progression. And so now, instead of strictly learning the song by the notes and the chords of the original version, if I use the number system, it allows me to easily transpose the song to another key. So if I need to go from the key of A to the key of G, I can just shift that whole pattern of the chord progression to my new root note, and I'm good to go. Now it's time to break down the structure of the song. Most songs share elements of the same standard structure. You've got a verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. Now this is a big generalization because there are plenty of examples of songs that don't follow this format. Maybe they have a unique intro, or the ending is completely different, or they'll have an instrumental or solo instead of a bridge. The possibilities are endless. But that's what we're listening for, right? We want to actively listen to the song a few times to familiarize ourselves with it and to get a sense of the journey that it's taking the listener on. Now, it's good to know these different parts because each section usually has the same or similar chord progression throughout the song. So the verses are probably going to be similar. The choruses are probably going to be similar. Now there's, of course, going to be nuances and small differences in each of the sections, but doing this helps break down the song into more manageable segments to make it easier to learn. Now, if a song has a particularly challenging part to play, you may want to try slowing it down. You can check out my video here where I talk about adjusting the tempo of a track in Logic Pro, but most digital audio workstations will allow you to do this. Slowing the song down will help give you a better feel for the notes that you're supposed to be playing. And then as you get more comfortable, you can gradually ramp the speed back up. Conversely,
If you've already mastered the song at the original tempo, then a great exercise is to speed the song up and challenge yourself to play at a faster tempo than the original. This will help reinforce the patterns that you're playing at the slower speeds. Now, if you don't have the means to change the tempo of the track using an audio application, you can always use a metronome. A metronome is a great way for any musician to develop their rhythm and timing skills. It's a great way to play the song at a different tempo, but it also reinforces the structure of the song in your memory since you're having to recall where you're at in the song. Recording yourself is a great way to practice performing the song. There's something about hitting the record button and seeing that little red light that puts your performance in a whole new perspective. Now, you can do this in any digital audio workstation, or this can be as simple as using your phone and recording an audio memo or a video clip. Then you can listen back to it in a different mindset from being the player to being a listener. And it can really help narrow in on the areas that you play well and then the areas where you need to improve. Now, one of the best ways to learn something is to teach it to someone else. This is known as the protege effect. I personally like to practice a song so that I know it well enough to where I could teach it to someone else or at least guide them through it. I'm often in this position at my church where I sometimes play the role of a music director and I have to guide the band through the song. So I not only have to know the song well enough to play it correctly, I also have to know it well enough to lead the rest of the band through it so that we're all playing the right parts at the right time. This can also help avoid burnout, and this is one area to be aware of. Some bass players get tired of playing the same parts over and over, the same songs over and over. If that happens, try to shift your perspective and think, how would I go about teaching this song to someone else? Now, once you know what you should be playing, it's time to reinforce it with deliberate practice, which will help build muscle memory. This makes the performance of the song more intuitive and less mentally taxing. Now, muscle memory is where a specific motor function is consolidated into long-term memory through repetition. So as you practice, you gradually reduce the need to make a conscious effort in what you're playing. This can also help you focus more on the experience of playing, whether it's in front of others or in a studio, instead of having to focus so much on what notes to play next. Now, concentration and maintaining good form are important here. There are studies that show that slow and deliberate practice is more effective than a quick practice where you're not maintaining good form and making a lot of mistakes. Also, studies show that regular short practice sessions are more effective than longer, infrequent practice sessions. So practicing 10 to 20 minutes for 5 days a week may help you more than a 3-hour session on a weekend. Now, this is advice that may not be common in a music instruction video, but get a good night's sleep. There are numerous studies that show the effectiveness of sleep on strengthening our memories. You may have noticed this in your own practice. If you're working on a particularly difficult riff or fill that you can't quite get right, but you keep at it for a few days and finally you're able to nail it. Now, it's true that the practice and the repetition and the muscle memory are all coming into play here, but the sleep can help as well. Sleep helps consolidate and reinforce memories that we want to retain. And there are studies that show there's better retention in a 12-hour period that includes sleep than compared to a 12-hour period that does not include sleep. So if you're wanting to nail that difficult riff, then practice it, get a good night's sleep, and then come back and try again the next day. So give these tips a try the next time you're learning a song. Or if you have your own tricks that I didn't mention, feel free to drop them in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video and that it was helpful. If so, please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more bass tips. Until next time, thank you for watching.